Once upon a time, there was a young boy who lived in a small village at the foot of a hill. He was known throughout the village for being lazy and weak. Every day, he would lie under a tree, taking long naps and daydreaming about his future. The villagers often called him lazy because all he ever did was rest under that tree, letting his days pass by without purpose. One day, a Buddhist monk came to the village. He planned to stay there for 3 days. Buddhist monks spend their days begging for alms and teaching people, and at night, they rest in monasteries outside the village. During his time in the village, the monk noticed the boy under the same tree every time he went out for alms and returned. For 2 days, the monk silently observed the boy and realized that he was trapped by his own laziness. On the 3rd day, while returning with alms, the monk decided to speak to the boy. The boy was still lying under the tree. The monk approached him and said, "Son, I have a job for you. I want you to climb to the top of that hill and bring me a feather from there." The boy, still lying down, turned his head to look at the hill. He then looked back at the monk and scoffed, saying, "That's impossible. I can't climb that hill. I'm too lazy." The monk smiled and replied, "But the feather I need isn't on the top of the hill. It's in a cave on the other side of the hill. To find it, you'll have to climb to the top and then descend the other side. It's not an ordinary feather. It's a rare and beautiful one, unlike anything you've ever seen. Its light shines brightly, and it's truly special." These words sparked curiosity in the boy. He had never heard of such a feather before, and the thought of the journey excited him. For the first time, he felt motivated and decided to accept the monk's challenge. He stood up and began his climb. The hill was steep, and the journey was long and difficult. Soon, his body grew tired, his breaths became heavy, and sweat dripped down his face. But he kept going. As he climbed higher, he started feeling something new, a sense of happiness and excitement. After hours of effort, he finally reached the top of the hill. He was exhausted but filled with pride. For the first time, he felt a deep sense of accomplishment. A smile lit up his face like that of a victorious warrior. From the top of the hill, he looked down and saw a breathtaking view. The sight filled him with joy, and he realized he had achieved something he thought impossible. But the journey wasn't over. The boy still needed to climb down the other side of the hill and find the cave. The descent was even more challenging. The slope was steep, and he stumbled and fell several times. Fear crept into his mind, but he remembered his promise to the monk. After much searching and effort, he finally found the cave. There, in the soft light filtering through the entrance, he saw the feather. It was as beautiful as the monk had described, radiant and mesmerizing. The boy stared at it in awe, but then he remembered he had to return to the monk. He was completely exhausted and wondered how he would climb back up the hill. For a moment, he thought about giving up. Then he remembered the joy and pride he had felt when he reached the top of the hill earlier. That memory gave him strength. He started climbing back. His muscles ached, his legs trembled, and his lungs burned. He stumbled and fell many times, but he didn't stop. He kept pushing himself. After hours of tireless effort, he finally reached the monk and placed the feather in his hands. The boy's face was glowing with happiness and satisfaction. He had overcome his laziness and achieved something meaningful. The monk smiled and said, "Well done, my son. Today, you've learned an important lesson. Laziness is not something to accept or tolerate. It's a challenge to overcome, a hurdle to conquer. To defeat laziness, you must take the first step. Move toward your goal and keep going until you achieve it. You've proven that you have the strength and determination to overcome any obstacle." The boy nodded, understanding the depth of the monk's words. He realized he was capable of achieving great things, but his laziness had held him back. Now, he knew he had the power to face any challenge. The monk blessed the boy and left the village, leaving behind an unforgettable lesson. The lesson we can take from this story is simple but powerful. When we push ourselves to reach our goals, we discover inner strength and determination we never knew existed. No matter how difficult the path may seem, we must challenge ourselves to overcome laziness and aim for bigger goals. With discipline, consistency, and a growth mindset, we can conquer any obstacle. So, step out of your comfort zone and embrace life's challenges, because that's where growth happens. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like and subscribe for more motivational tales. See you in the next video.